you've even caught a lot of flack because people have thought like, oh, she's just like culturally appropriating black preachers.
There's pastors that literally say, if you go to a white pastor's church, I can't even talk to you. And I'm like, man, that's really rough, because I would go to your church. I just think that people connect to me because I speak life. So it's just funny to me. I mean, my husband's a whole black man.
You've been divorced 3 times.
I was trying to take medicine to someone that liked being sick, and his character just couldn't keep up with where God was taking me. I started working out, lost 75 pounds. I got to get myself ready for who God's bringing in my life. I think that I lived for so many people for so long that I lost me, and I'm just coming back for everything the devil stole. When I tell you, girl, I got a 6-pack at 52, and he deserves a hot wife, so I do it.
I love that. I want him to desire me. And I think that that's a conversation in the church that we have been running from.
Why, I wonder?
I'm not going to sit under the tutelage of someone who is not disciplined in
Me neither. Like, you're judging me for what? And you're fat.
Yeah.
You're a glutton. I said, I want someone that when we walk into the room, we feel like we're each other's escape and not each other's duty. When he walks in a room, everybody disappears.
Yeah.
You will never get in his DMs, because he'll be like, look, you can't even do what my woman doing for me. I think women with a lot of money too, we start thinking he's got to have as much money as I got to have.
Okay, talk about this. Welcome to Vaughn Empowers Talks, where we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandi Harvey. Y'all, I got a treat for y'all today. We about to get into some real talk. Pastor Kimberly Jones, affectionately known as Real Talk Kim, is the pastor of Limitless Church in Fayetteville, Georgia, and the founder of Conquering Hell in High Heels, a community that aims to help people live their best lives. As a best-selling author of 5 books, Real Talk Kim's latest books include You Gotta Get Up and Unstuck, 90 Days of Inspiration, Encouragement, and the Promise of New Life. Kim is using her influence to mentor people all over the world through her mentorship program, RTK Inner Circle, and serves as an advocate for the Give Culture Foundation for Impact. Real Talk Kim has a successful weekly syndicated podcast, has appeared on Preachers of Atlanta, Dr. Oz, Chatter Talk Show, BET, Nightline News, The Tamron Hall Show, and Good Morning America, just to name a few. Kim believes pain isn't your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Vaughn Empowers Talks welcome wife, mother, pastor, author, motivational speaker, and entrepreneur, Real Talk Kim, to the show.
Yeah.
Yay, it's you, girl. Hi.
I'm so honored to be here.
I am so excited for you to be here.
You.
I told you before you got here, you know, we met at Dr. Trim's in Your Year Strong. And I was like, you were sitting on the front row when I was on the panel, and you were kind of like my go-to amen corner.
Oh, yeah, I was
You was cheering me on, so I was feeling good, okay? But then I stayed to hear you preach. And I was like, this woman is such a genuine, authentic gem. And you are so necessary. So I had to have you here.
I am just grateful, humble, honored. You were actually such a breath of fresh air. I loved the way you kept it real. I loved your authenticity. You weren't scared. You just crushed it. Like, she was very smart having you there. But of course, Cindy Trim is the GOAT.
Yeah, she is.
She's amazing.
I told you I was a little nervous when I got up there because I'm not churchy. And so I was kind of like, why they got me up here at the church? I mean, with some heavy hitter church
that
people.
hoop.
Listen. And I said, I don't do that. But you know, our gift always makes room for us.
It really does.
You know?
And I really think people in this world are looking for authenticity. They're looking for someone God doesn't just use the qualified. He qualifies the ones that he trusts in this next season.
Yeah.
And you're one of them, girl.
I appreciate that.
Your name is in rooms your feet haven't even walked in yet.
Kim, I truly believe
that.
I truly believe that. And like, even in meeting you, right? Because there's a lot of internet fodder when it comes to you. People always have an opinion about you, you know, from all your days when you was in that car, baby, with that mohawk.
Nay-naying and not praying.
Listen, you was the white lady with the mohawk in the car, you know? So all of that. And I mean, you've even caught a lot of flack because people have thought like, oh, she's just like culturally appropriating black preachers and black pastors.
Yeah.
But when you meet you, this is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love hard. Like, Brandi, I worked really hard. I was raised in United Pentecostal, which is, my father was a pastor.
Yeah.
And I hated people. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't trust Christians. They were a bunch of sanctified hypocrites to me. I could watch you sit there and sing about Jesus and look like you're ready to cut your wrist. And so I fought hard to heal and love people. And now, man, I would pray, God, let me love people like you. Now, I literally love people.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time to get here. I don't even understand when people say that, though. You know, they're like, why is she talking like that?
I'm like,
My church looks like heaven. I mean,
you have a very diverse church.
yeah.
But a lot of your audience is Black people.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of the candor. You know, you're very candid in your conversation. You've never shied away from telling the falls and the failures and the missteps that you've had.
Yeah.
You know, you've never shied away from it.
And I think that, you know, I look at that and I'm like, I don't even know how that happened, because I do. I get crucified for it a lot. I mean, there's pastors that literally say if you go to a white pastor's church, I can't even talk to you. And I'm like, man, that's really rough.
Wow.
Because I would go to your church. I just think that people connect to me because I speak life. You know, I let them know it doesn't matter how far you've gone. As long as you ain't dead, God ain't done. And I give them the tools to get up. And I think people are just tired. And I think maybe the Black community is just like, we're sick of falling in the floor all the time and just dancing and hooping. We're ready for change.
Yeah.
And my message is about hope and getting up and letting God use you and being a generational curse breaker. So it's just funny to me. I mean, my husband's a whole Black man, baby.
Well, I was going to wait to get to Angelo, Big Low. Okay, he in the other room. Okay, she had a bodyguard when she came.
Listen, I love that man.
I told Kim, this a real talk, Brandi. Okay, I told you when you came in. I said, every time I see you introduce this man, whether he's been on the stage at your conference, whether you just look. I said, Kim is in love. Listen, the way you look at that man, baby, if you ain't looking like that,
what are you even doing?
Looking low, baby, you ain't got it, okay?
You know what I think it is, Brandi? I think for so long I was raised with this culture that women, if they're ambitious, if they're rich, which I'm all of that, then there's going to be no man that can ever, it's either career, Birkin bags, millionaire status, billionaire status, or relationship. And I think when God brought me Angelo, this man is so confident. Now, he's the first, look, we would have made some pretty caramel babies if I would have just thought maybe this is what I should have done in the beginning.
So this is the first Black man you dated?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Now, I had a friend that I talked to after my relationship ended. I don't know. I think after that last relationship, I was like, dude, white men can't, we this ain't doing it no more. We're going to try that. But I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking for it. I really wasn't. I met him at St. Regent's. But this man, when I tell you, he's so confident, he's so caring, but he's alpha.
Yeah.
And he is protective, and he's just found his place in my world. He is everything I didn't know I needed. And so for the rest of my life, I do think my other marriages I messed up because I think I put ministry before them. They didn't keep my attention as far as I want to be with you instead of traveling to Nigeria and preach. You know, they had a hard time with what God was doing in my life. And so I think this one means so much to me. I met him when I was 50, and I don't want to be alone. And I know what didn't work in the last relationships, and I'm never, ever going to make this man not feel seen. When he walks in a room, everybody disappears.
Yeah.
When this man walks in, there will be not another woman on this planet will ever praise this man. You will never get in his DMs. Because he'll be like, look, you can't even do what my woman doing for me. Because when he walk, I stand up. What?
You do. I mean, you are.
But it's good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell. He is. You've been divorced 3 times. Mm-hmm. First marriage, 18. You run off to Mexico.
I really need a Netflix movie.
You do, because you said God was calling you to be a missionary in Mexico, Kim.
I was trying to get away from my dad and mom that were strict religious.
Yeah. Second marriage lasted
18. I was 18. Can you believe that?
Yeah. And you loved your second husband.
Oh, yeah,
You said
man.
you were just,
I loved my first one. I just didn't know how to love right. I think I was escaping. 18 years old, you should never get married at 18 years old.
No.
I mean, but I was raised in a religion that literally you have babies. You get married and have babies and you take care of your husband. And I thought I was going to be able to do that. And I realized I'm way too ambitious for this.
Because you watched your mom. You said your mom was extremely subservient.
She was the wallflower.
And you said you didn't like watching that.
No, I watched my mother literally, Brandi. She had the longest hair down her back. Women could not cut their hair. Women could not wear makeup. We could not wear short sleeves because them elbows gonna make every man fall. They so sexy. And I did not want to become, I just knew that God had called me. I was like, man, there's something so much bigger. Like my personality, like I love my brother Robbie. I love you more than anything. But, you know, I got the sauce.
Yeah.
Like I knew that I was in special ed my whole life and I learned how to be street smart and make it through school. Don't even know how I graduated. I just am a make it person. And I know how to make it without going into devastation and depression. Like things don't end my world. I was like, why am I just going to be a wife?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until my late 40s where I understood what a good woman can do. And so I did. I didn't want to be like my mom. You know, my mom, if my dad needed a keyboard player, she learned how to play the keyboard. If he needed a choir, she'd start the choir. If he needed a daycare in the church, she would run the daycare. She was behind the scenes looking like literally 90 years old at 30. I would beg her to drop me off way before the school doors so that people wouldn't see her. But my daddy looked like he stepped out of GQ.
Really?
And I just didn't want to be that way. I was like, you know what? Every woman, like, why? We birth babies. We put humans on this earth. And I've got to be this way. I don't want it. And I literally lost my ever-loving mind because I was like, I'm going to go to Tepic, Nayarit, Mexico and try to be a missionary's wife. 18 hours after the border, I'm like, what? What did I do? 18 hours after the border? And all of these people spoke Spanish, and my floors were like dirt. And I am still the kind of girl at 16 years old. I wanted a BMW. My daddy was gonna get me a hand-me-down. I went and got me a job at Rich's.
Yeah.
So I was a go-getter. My hustle was holy at 16. And now I'm putting myself in this situation.
Yeah.
In Mexico where nobody talks English, and I would sit and watch those Spanish soap operas.
Some Telemundo. You was trying to learn. Let me learn.
I think I learned Dama un beso mi chichis. And I said it when my husband come home. He goes, okay. I said, what did I say? Kiss my boobs. I was like, I'm not going to make it here very well.
That marriage lasted 1 year.
Yeah.
6 months later, you get married again.
I went to Bible school. My parents sent me to World Harvest Bible School with Rod Parsley because they said, we got to find the roughest, scariest preacher out there to scare the hell out of you because you won't listen to nothing.
So they sent you to Scared Straight camp.
Oh, straight, listen.
The Christian Scared Straight. So it
didn't work.
It didn't work because you found your new man.
Listen, I started singing, and I remember I was on the Sea of Galilee because immediately I get there and they put me on the singing. I started singing and traveling the world with Pastor Rod and Lester Summerall, and I'm coming back from Israel. I just sang on the Sea of Galilee. I know the peace speaker. It's on the boat. Didn't no more know the peace speaker than the man in the moon. Shocked it didn't capsize. And on the way home, he looked at me and he said, I see you looking at that piano boy. He said, when we get back to Ohio, he said, you're going to move on premises because there's an anointing on your life and you're about to jump out of the fire into the frying pan.
Oh, my goodness.
3 o'clock in the morning, I packed my Yugo and head to Atlanta.
Because you said, yeah, I'm out.
But it had been instilled in me my whole life, Brandi. This is what it looks like to be successful. You need a husband.
Yeah.
You need to have kids. Like, this is all you're good for. And so I was looking for that. And I found a bad boy. I mean, he was my son's father. 18 years we lasted.
Yeah. You said you loved him so much.
I did.
Yeah. But addiction eventually tore you all's relationship apart because you knew you couldn't save him?
I couldn't. I was trying to take medicine to someone that liked being sick. You know, my mother, I am such a diehard loyalist. Like, I literally feel like, and I would always date projects. So people like Build-A-Bear men.
Wow.
Like, I thought I owned the Build-A-Bear planet. So he was broke, and I was like, I think I can fix him.
I love him.
Hey, I ran away. I left 8 times. I mean, we were both preachers' kids. Every single thing Pastor Rod said was going to happen, happened. 25 years later, right? And here I am 18 years, and I start this journey of having to start all over again. And it took literally probably 25 years to break away. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, yeah. I moved back in with my mother and my father. I owned an interior design company that banked. I was telling people I could make drapes, and they believed me. And my design company in Florida with one of my friends, Brian, I mean, we were killing it. But sin took us further than we wanted to go. Cost us more than we wanted to pay.
Wow.
And we lost everything. And my mom and daddy came and saved me, and I went to their house at 36 and thought I was losing my mind.
36 years old, you go move back in with your parents, and you take a job at Belk.
Had to.
At the Estee Lauder counter.
There was nothing else, and all I knew was design. You know, where am I going to go work? I was special ed. I didn't go to college.
Wow.
And I went to Belk, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because that's where I fell in love with people. I had to tap into whatever it was that I was running from in Kim. These people were sitting in my chair, Brandi, and a lot of them were seasoned saints, seasoned people, which meant they had lots of wrinkles. And they would come sit in my chair and want me to do their makeup. And I had no clue because I was United Pentecostal. They didn't teach you how to do makeup. We didn't wear makeup. And here I am like, God, you hate me. Like, I was bad in baby heaven. This
Not bad at baby
This
heaven.
is why I'm here. Like, I got to
Wow.
work at Belk for $9 an hour. Belk is like a Kmart on crack. And I was dying.
And so how long were you there?
I was there for probably 2 years, and I really fell in love with it because I found that since I didn't know how to do makeup, I had to talk. And I really realized, man, I'm a good salesperson.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, you do not even need, like if you came and sat in my chair, Brandi, I'd be like, girl, you don't even need any makeup.
You just need
God
lip gloss.
favored you so much with them cheekbones. Let's just put a little bit of bronzer and lip gloss. And everybody was buying the lip gloss.
Wow.
And the Estee Lauder were like, what are you doing? I said, if you only knew, I'm surviving.
I'm over here doing the work of the Lord. I'm doing the Lord's
I got
work.
healed. I started getting healed because I started realizing, man, these people are really going through. I'm just over here mad at religion, really? I'm mad at my dad for what? Mad at my mom. And I just started loving these people in my chair. And I started realizing that I was ministering. Didn't even know that's what it was. I was just trying to save my job. And before I knew it, these people were walking out, carrying their heads up like, man, this woman, they would come back on Friday and be like, what are you coming back for? You got to keep your lipstick. You can't return your lipstick. We're on a roll in this store. And they'd be like, no, I'm coming to sit back in your chair because I don't know what you did. But for 60 years, I've been stuck on what my dad did to me. And in those 45 minutes, whatever you said to me gave me hope to live.
Wow.
And I started like, girl, depression started falling off of me. I was walking like, can't nobody tell me nothing. I was loving people.
Yeah.
And Bloomingdale's, I got a job at Bloomingdale's. And I thought, man, I'm moving from Kmart on crack to black and white tile on the floor.
Yeah.
And I went and did Estee Lauder there and stayed there for 5 years, ran just about every department in that store. Because that's where I started, got picked up for Preachers of Atlanta.
Okay. So Preachers of Atlanta, now we're in your third husband, your third marriage, right?
Met him on Facebook.
You met him on Facebook.
I met him on Facebook. I was living back at my mom and dad's house. I was 38, 39 years old. I had gone on, my family had went to Hawaii on vacation with my sons, and I was mad. So I opened me up a eHarmony.
Wow.
And I went on eHarmony, and it overtook me, the people that liked me on eHarmony. I went and met one, and I walk in, and this little Pillsbury Doughboy, I'm like, what? He literally was not who he said he was. And I went home and closed it. He had a picture of him at a golf in high school, maybe 50 years before.
No.
So I closed it down. It showed me that I was desiring something. Like I was like, man, I got to get out of my mother and dad's house. I need somebody to save me. Like I need somebody that's got it going on. I need somebody that's got money. I don't want to work at Bloomingdale's for the rest of my life. I still wasn't saved. I was still driving to church with a cigarette hanging out my window, going to lead praise and worship at my dad's
you're
church.
not saved if you going to church smoking on the way?
Listen, I'd go the back roads too. I'd be going down the back roads. I'd get out of the car and spray love spell all over me like they weren't going to smell that I like a whole French whore. And I'd get there to lead worship because my dad was making me lead worship because I was in his house again. And this dude slipped in my DMs. And he was older. He was 15 years older.
Oh, wow.
And he had a picture of him at TBN, in the crowd. And I was like, well, he's saved. So maybe this is the one.
Because of the picture at TBN.
I had never preached a sermon in my life. I did not want to be leading worship at my dad and mom's church. Like, I was still very lost, even though I was loving people.
Wow.
And I literally let this man slip in my DMs, and I met him twice. And my mom said to me, Kimberly, because 2 women reached out and said to my daddy and said, tell this girl to run. This man is the devil. And my daddy and mama sat me down and said, Kimberly, what you gonna do if what they say about him's true? I was like, well, I guess I'll be like the woman at the well. We'll just get divorced. Can you believe that? How hard I was, Brandi?
So people were telling you that this man was the devil.
Yes.
But why were they saying that he was the devil?
Because they had been in a relationship with him.
Okay, these are 2
One was his ex-wife, which y'all listen to me. If somebody tells you they've been married 2 or 3 times and it's never them and it's somebody else, they are a problem. They're a red flag because it takes 2 to tango.
You did not believe the ex-wife when
I wanted out of my mother's house.
Yeah.
I wanted my sons to see me loved. I was the only one in my family, Brandi, that couldn't keep a marriage. I was literally going to hell on a slip and slide 3 times. I mean, 2 times at this point. I never thought God was going to use me the way he has.
Wow.
I never in my life thought that I would have probably thought better. I would have probably considered, you probably shouldn't do this. Like, you don't even know this man. And I married him. And he moved to Atlanta. Got on Preachers of Atlanta. My world took off. And his character just couldn't keep up with where God was taking me.
When you said this on your interview with Willie Moore Jr., I was like, whoa. Of course, in the comments, that's all people were saying. His character couldn't keep up where my purpose was going. Like, his character couldn't keep up with my purpose. And I think that there are so many women who find themselves at that door walking into 40 or after 40 or walking into 50, and they feel like the clock is running out. I better make a decision quick. If I don't, my life is going to fall apart. And you're saying there is still so much time on the clock.
Listen to me. We serve a God. I didn't preach my first sermon until I was 41. I literally just was talking to myself on videos in a car because I was in a knockoff Bentley, a 300 Chrysler, sitting on the side of the road overheating.
Yeah.
And I was talking to myself in this video, and it went viral, and I did it every day. Consistency, 1 to 2 minutes, just encouraging people. When I tell you God is the kind of God, when you were literally a seed in your mother's womb, Brandi, before your daddy and mama ever laid down together and you were created, hell heard purpose, destiny, a game changer, a nation shifter, but the doctors heard wah. And so you've been fought your whole life, whether it was your own decisions, whether it was your own choices, but he knew every single detail of your life. And he also knew that at 40 years old, 41 years old, social media was going to be a thing. And people were going to need what you said. And because you had lost everything anyway, it didn't matter what people thought about you. So you just told everything. You used yourself as the main character in your testimony without bringing other people down. And God just opened the windows of heaven. Wow. I'm talking favor. This is what he'll do for you. This is what he'll do for every person watching today. If you will just believe that the time you have left in this world, if it's 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, he will shove all the purpose into those years. And he will do for you in those years what you couldn't have done with 12 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, you're a living testament to that. Even, before we got on, I talked about, I was like, I really want you to talk about this reimagining and reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have reimagined yourself from the woman that was in that car, baby, with that mohawk.
Man, I look at those pictures, Brandi, and I'm like, who is that?
You was looking like your auntie then, right? That was your auntie, Kim. This rich auntie vibes, okay? That was the other auntie.
That
right?
was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That wasn't. That was like 6 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And when I met Angelo, he was like, girl, we got it. Now, he did not meet me like that. He was like, I would have not looked at you. Like God knew he wasn't going to look at me looking like, a fairy godmother. But I started preaching at these men conferences and speaking at these huge events, MLM events. And I was like, men are not going to listen. Not even women are going to look at a fairy godmother with 1,200 patterns on. And I just started getting a desire to become soft. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, this might be my soft girl. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know what God was doing, but I've always been one that when I feel an itch, I do it. Obviously, I was married 3 times. But I'm not scared. And so I was just like, I started working out like 3 or 4 years ago, lost 75 pounds.
When I went back and watched some of your old videos, and this was in the era of, the Preachers of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You were so much heavier.
Yeah. I thought I was big boned. I'll never forget.
You'll never hear the white girl saying big bone.
I thought I was big bone. I went into my doctor. So I hit like 46. And one day I was on the car and I was like, what is that? It was like a shelf for my boobs. I was like, this extra roll just appeared.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor just to get my blood work and checkup done. I was still not pastoring at this time. And she said, you're pushing a man's weight. Congratulations. And me and her are friends. I've been with her for like 9 years. And I said, Lisa, you know that I'm just big boned. And she said, girl, hold on. She goes and gets a skeleton.
I know she did.
And brings it in. And she said, have you ever seen a fat skeleton?
Where on that skeleton said big bone?
I thought I was big bone.
This the same femur.
Girl, my daddy used to tell me, because I'm bigger than everybody in the family.
You're very tall.
Yeah.
You're very tall.
And my daddy used to always tell me, you're just like my mom. And I've never met his mom because she died early. So I was excited that he was going to take me. We were kind of disconnected from his family because my dad was a strict religion. And there was a death, and I couldn't wait to go to this funeral because I am obviously like his side of the family because they're all big boned like me. I get there and they're all small. I'm like, what? My whole life I thought I was from your side of the family. He says, no, you're like my mom. You're like my mom, Kim. He shows me a picture. She was like 500 pounds. She was 500 pounds and probably 5'10". And so in my head, I'm like, I'm just doomed to be big. And my mother is 99 pounds soaking wet. 5 foot tall.
I've seen your mom. Me and your mom are neighbors. Yeah.
So she convinced me that day that no, it's the Twizzlers. It's the circus peanuts you eat in bed at night. And I remember going home, Brandi, I'd be like, come out. Because I am her. I will lay hands on myself. I will have my own healing line. I was like, come out, sugar demon, come out. And I remember God was like, girl, you just stop buying it.
Girl.
That's how I got free from everything. I got free from partying. I got free from, cigarettes. I said I just did socially, but the voice tells you I did it.
Yeah. I was wondering, but then when I watched your interview with Willie Moore, you said you Marlboro.
Oh, honey, I was menthol too.
Marlboro menthols was your go-to.
Nobody in my family ever did that. Like, talk about black sheep. I was the black sheep, but now I'm the goat, baby.
Yeah, I want you to lead into this conversation of like reimagining yourself.
Yeah.
Because part of that reimagining really was a focus on your health and wellness.
Yeah.
And like now I see you on social, you got the workouts, you and your husband are working out together. He's fit, he's in shape, and I'm sure you guys serve as accountability to
Oh,
him.
yeah. Man, that man will literally, like, I was putting on something yesterday. He was like, where are you going? Where are you going? I said, with you. He said, not like that. Like, we definitely hold each other accountable. And, well, I started working out 6 months before I met him. And I did a challenge online. I'd never worked out in my life. I was big boned. And I was like, the doctor was like, are you working out? And I'm like, yeah, I'm preaching. You know, and she's like, Kim, that ain't working out. And I was like, it's 45 minutes. It's 8 hours of labor. I mean, it is like, I was giving all the statistics. But something came over me. Soaring 24 is what I said. No, it was set free, break free in 23. And it was the beginning of January, and I do prayer call every morning at 8 a.m. on all my social medias. And on that, I challenged every one of us. We can do anything for 30 days. And I'd already lost 30-something pounds in the previous 2 years, which I was looking fine. But I lost another 30 pounds that month. I was going to the gym every day. I literally would get on the workout, on the prayer calls in my workout outfits to be accountable. And I mean, I was literally, Brandi, like, if you see me running, you better run because somebody's chasing me. Like, I was so not a workout person. And I started working out and I began to love it. And I started seeing change, and I started seeing the shelf go away.
Yeah.
Back boobs gone, and I was preaching better. And literally, probably 3 months later, I ran into this man that looked like Jesus, Hulk, at St. Regent, and he would have never looked at me if
you weren't fit.
And I'd already let my hair start growing out a little bit. Now I did look like Miss Brady, but I was in the in-between stage, and it was still kind of cute. But when I met him, we just started going to the gym together. And when I tell you, girl, I got a 6-pack at 52.
That is so good.
Like, this man, I mean, we hold each other, and he's the best cook. So he cooks healthy food.
Right.
I'll be trying to get in there and cook. He'd be like, girl, go sit down, you know.
I love that because, you know, Shamika Daniels has been on the show before. And what Shamika Daniels is, when she sat in that seat, it said, discipline has receipts.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Discipline has receipts. Good. And people think that you can't tell what you got going on, but the body is going to keep the score.
Brandi,
right?
You know, I wanted to do that so bad. Like, when I first started going to the gym, I wanted to start showing people. Like,
yeah.
And Angelo would be like, no, you can't do that yet. You're not there yet. Like, don't post it yet.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the receipts. I was just in that. It's like birthing a baby. Those first 3 months, you just look like you had too many hamburgers.
Right.
But then about the 6th month, you start seeing something. That's the same way with working out. Consistency always pays.
Absolutely.
It always pays off. And so now I put my little workout up there. It makes preachers cringe, I'm sure.
Oh, but you know what? I mean, I even said this. I'm not going to sit under the tutelage of someone who is not disciplined in
Me neither. And it matters to me.
It matters. It matters.
Like, you're judging me for what? And you're fat.
Yeah.
You're a glutton. Yeah. And it's all a sin.
It is.
It is.
And that's the thing. We think, well, I do this right, and I don't drink, and I don't do this, and I don't cuss. Some of y'all need to be cussing and drinking while y'all hitting that treadmill. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all better do something. Okay, because the math ain't mathing, you know?
And I believe what Tamika even says goes into your whole workplace and church and relationships.
It totally does.
Like, you can tell what you're putting in.
Yeah.
You can tell.
And your confidence. I think there was a shift in your ministry and your messaging when your confidence started to soar.
I can't even explain it. Like, and I'm not attributing, because I'm sure in all the comments gonna be like, oh, she giving him all the glory. But when I tell you, when a woman is loved right,
absolutely,
when even an alpha female is loved right, she will follow that man.
Absolutely.
When he leads, she will follow. This man literally loves me so well that it gives me the confidence to just say what God wants me to say. If you don't invite me to your church, that's fine. I'll build my own table. I'll start my own company. This man believes in everything I do.
Yeah.
And so I believe that, when I started taking care of myself, of Girl, I ain't never worn a small suit in my life. I never saw this on the scale that I'm seeing, and it's all because I'm working out and eating better.
Yeah. I mean, your dress totally changed. You were doing the tutus, the big voluminous, clothes.
Big glasses.
The big glasses. It was like you were hiding so much of who you were.
I was.
Because it was like you really couldn't
And I was
show up.
bleeding on people that didn't cut me, It was like, I still to this day, Brandi, don't really know what I was mad at. My mom and dad went through a hiccup in their 25th year of marriage, but that hiccup gave us the best dad on the planet. She got a better husband. Like, that pain was for a purpose. So I don't even know what I was mad at, other than the fact that I felt like every single thing that I ever did, I had to work so much harder than my brother. I had to work so much harder. I was like out in the streets and understood. And I don't even know, except now it's to tell the story.
Yeah.
Now it's to tell people, it's all right, you felt what you felt, but now let's get up. You got to get up. Ain't nobody coming to get you up.
Yeah.
You got to let go of what your dad did to you. You got to let go of what that ex did to you. You are not what they call you. You are who God created you to be. And so I had to go through it.
Yeah, you had to go through it. I mean, I listened to you when you were on the stage at In Your Year Strong, and you talked about this imposter syndrome that you felt, because not preaching your first sermon until 41, you get launched into this space of, really stardom because you're highly visible. Social media is, you are highly recognizable on social media, and you were feeling like a fraud.
Yeah. You know what was crazy, Brandi? I tried to grow that mohawk out for years, and everybody on social media wouldn't have it. They would send me hate mail. You are trying to become Hollywood. You are, and I go, cut my mohawk again. It was like nobody recognized me again. Like, it was almost like I had to deal with Kimberly being famous on social media is like being rich in Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta figure your life out. Like, it is not for the likes and the accolades. It was almost like I went from one addiction, brokenness, to another to fill the voids. And so when I finally made up in my mind, I don't care. Like, it was really when I hit like 49 years old. Wow. And I was like, I got my hormones under control. Yeah. And I literally started living my life like, you know what? If I died tomorrow, there's still so much in me that I know I'm supposed to do. That's when I started reinventing myself. I thought, and then when I met Angelo, he was like, you need a style. I'm like, what? I said, I am white. We don't have styles. We just have like soft hair. And he said, no, girl, you need a style. And then all of a sudden on social media one day, I was like, because, I talked to everybody, like my best friends on social media. I was like, y'all, I need what are we going to do with this in-between stage? And all of a sudden, all these people are like, get you some extensions. I was like, y'all are haters. Nobody told me that I could have got extensions.
Girl, so
I would have got extensions.
You got the black effect. You know how they be on TikTok talking about the black wife effect. You got the black husband effect, Kim. What? You need a black person in your life.
Listen.
You got the black husband.
Maybe you need to think outside your ranks. Like, let's just commingle.
You got the black husband effect.
And I did it. I went and got me some extensions. And I thought only black women could get extensions. I didn't know. I mean, one time I wrapped my hair up in this thing. And I was on every black girl blog on the planet. She tried to be like us. I was scared of extensions. I didn't want people to think, but I got free. And I went and got extensions. And I found out white women are the ones that had them first.
Yeah. Y'all was out there.
It would change my life. You couldn't tell me that I got long hair. I felt like United Pentecostal again.
It was a long hair, don't care.
I went and got my eyelashes done. I mean, I literally shaved my own mohawk. Like, I was no maintenance. And now I'm with this beautiful man that's like, I'm taking care of myself for you. You let's do this.
Wow.
And he deserves a hot wife, so I do it. And I love it. Now I wouldn't know how to do anything else.
I love that because even as a woman in ministry, you understand that you're a woman first.
Yes.
And that I want to be hot for my man.
Yes.
I want to be hot. I want to entice him. I want him to desire me. And I think that that's a conversation in the church that we have been running from.
Why, I wonder?
That we don't want to talk about.
And it's the truth. Like, you can be prissy and a preacher. Like, you can have men. Like, I pastor Limitless Church is thriving. And we have great men and women and married couples, and we can't even find parking spots at our church. Like, we're having to build. I don't know how to build. We're just doing it. And you can be a woman and still be feminine and have a husband that's your everything and be a boss. And when you find out who God created you to be, you can be all things.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to sleep with my Birkin bag. That thing could not keep me warm. I was like,
listen.
You know what I did? I remember when it was Christmas, maybe 2000, let's see, I was turning 50. It was my 50th. I just turned 50 in August, and I was watching a Hallmark movie. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I was like, man, like, I might, because I just decided I was never getting married. Like, there's nobody that's going to be able to handle ministry. And every time I get in a relationship with someone, one other Black person that I went out with was a friend from 18 years ago, and it was just not. And his friend would always tell him, oh, you're with her, you're going to have to call her pastor. Like, you're white, this is weird. Like, she can't be your pastor. And so I just had understood inside of me, I'm probably going to be single. But I remember I heard the Lord one night. I'm praying. I was like, God, I know Mimi's not going to be here forever. Mimi's telling me every day, my mother, I'm not going to be here forever. You need somebody that's going to love you. And I'm like, Mimi, I'm fine. Like, I'm traveling. And she's like, baby. And I think she started praying and put that Holy Ghost prayer on me. And I was sitting in bed and I said, you know what? I gotta get myself ready for who God's bringing in my life. Because I'm not the gift. I always thought I'm the gift. I'm like what you're getting when you get me. and
you said, I'm not the gift.
I'm not. Like, I'm not. I want to be your thing that you unwrap every day, but I'm not. Like, you marrying me is not like this gloriful, oh, you're getting all this stuff that I'm bringing into this relationship. No. I wanted this man, when he walks in a room, to feel the room light up. Like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be this I don't know how to be his escape and not his duty. Like, I don't know. Ooh. Like, I'm the greatest relationship person. I can tell you what to do and what not to do. I can tell you how to run them off. I can tell you how to keep them. But I wasn't successful. So I heard the Lord say, get you some friends. And ask these friends if you can go on vacation with them. So I knew Dr. Dee Dee Freeman. I knew Medina Pullins. I knew Taffy Dollar. I know Jewel Tankard. Like, I knew some friends that have been married for very, very, very long time. 30 years.
Yeah, all of them.
And they're killing life.
Yeah.
And they're prissy.
Yeah.
And they're amazing.
And they really love their husbands. You can see it.
What?
Yeah.
There's not by choice that I pick those people. Like,
very feminine.
Yes.
Very, very
their
girly.
Husbands,
girls.
When they walk in a room, their husbands are like, you could tell they take care of their men. So I said, let's go on a vacation. So we go to the Bahamas with Dr. Dee Dee, Taffy, Dr. Holly Carter, Jewel Tankard. We all go to the Bahamas. And I watched every single time that their husbands called. It was like I wasn't even there. And they'd all be on their FaceTimes. Hi, baby, I miss you so much. They would just sit and stare and not even say nothing. I'm like, y'all been married 39 years. It just did something to me. And so I started praying specifics. I said, I want someone that when we walk into the room, we feel like we're each other's escape and not each other's duty. Ooh. And I don't know of anybody in my family that has that. I want literally for this man to feel like he can do anything he has. If he comes with Burger King dreams, if he comes with wanting to buy a car lot or a convenience store, we make it into a chain. I want somebody that I trust and he trusts me so that we can build an empire. And I met Angelo literally a month later at St. Regent's.
Ooh, so you selling the girls. Bump that Sierra prayer.
I'm telling you.
You just really need to be specific and watch God move.
Yes.
But I think but you trusted that you were going to receive that you asked for, though.
Well, and it was me praying, God, I want him to be proud of me. I want him to be like, I don't care if y'all don't love me. My wife, if you check my wife out, this woman over here makes me feel like King Kong. Yeah. Like, I knew that I wasn't giving what I needed to give to those other men that I was married to. I didn't make them feel like they were first priority. I didn't. There was something just not there. And thankfully, God, thank you that I didn't, because obviously I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
But I learned. And when I tell you every single thing I prayed, but it was more for me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, God, bring me somebody with 401k, bring me somebody with a great credit score, although those things were very important to me in my 50s. Boy, you need to learn how to run your life. But it was, I knew that I would experience, I never dreamed he wouldn't be in the church. Like he went to Del Bronner's church. I never dreamed that he'd be a sales, in cars and owning businesses. And I never dreamed that he would just be this calm, cool, I ain't got to prove nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of dude. It was just every single thing that I never dreamed and everything I knew I needed. I remember after we got married, after we got together, I was driving to church one day. I was like, Mom, what do I do? He doesn't come to our church. We're getting serious. Like, I really think we like each other a lot. But what am I going to do? Like, I'm a pastor. Like, how does this work for a woman in ministry? Because usually it's first lady and her husband.
Right.
And she said, Kimberly, you let that man be. She said, don't you force him to come to your church. She said, if he never comes to your church,
right,
you can definitely still have a very successful, thriving marriage, letting that man have his world and y'all at home build this beautiful empire together, this safe haven, this love dome. And she said, maybe it's not supposed to be like you know it. And sure enough, he said, okay, I'm going to come once a month. I'll show up once a month. And then all of a sudden he started showing up twice a month, because my church is literally in Fayetteville, Booney Docks.
Right. Nice little hike.
It's a hike.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll come a couple of times, maybe once a month. And he started coming twice. And now that man is, when I tell you, he's leading, like he's in his own way, demure. Just
very mindful.
Very mindful. And so I pray specifics, but all of it, a lot was to do with me.
I mean, I think that that's so important, because you had to really drown out the naysayers in the forming of this relationship.
Pastors, I lost a lot of churches.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people didn't invite me back.
When you got in this relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions that people were asking, they're like, is he a believer?
Yeah.
Does he go to church? Does he do this? They had so many concerns about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While they're smoking their Mary Jane.
Yeah.
You're totally smoking pot right now.
Yeah.
Asking if he's saved. I think it's because it was so unorthodox and I'd messed up so many times before. I think they loved me. I think that they were, Kim, you're in such a great spot. Don't mess this up. You don't got to just jump into another relationship. And it had been 5 years, but I'd messed up. And people have a hard time forgetting where you've been. That's it. And it's normal. Like, I'm not even mad about it. I just knew that it was going to affect my life because it's the third time.
Yeah. But I think, what you are a constant example of, even in this reinventing, reimagining yourself, that you've never been afraid of love. You've never given up on love.
God, I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Whew.
And that's, I feel, the refreshing thing for so many women out here, right? Because you get to these ages, you get to these big ages, and you think, well, I've already done that. I've already experienced that. I've already had that. Maybe I've been married, divorced. I've had kids. They're grown. They're out the house. I'm in a new phase. I'm just going to do me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look, I never gave up on it.
No. Yeah. And when I tell you, it's almost like me and Angelo sit in our house all the time because, man, that man is my DJ. Like, he's always got the music playing. We're dancing. Like, nothing I've ever had in a relationship. And we'll literally look at each other and be like, can't believe this is our life. Like, it's been 9 months. We've been married, been together 3 years. I can't believe this is my life. And I think it's because I never gave up on love. And I did not try to reduplicate. Like, I think at our big age, that after we've gone through some failure, we've gone through heartbreak, like all we want to be is loved, and yet money becomes a problem. They're intimidated by us. Right. Like, we're just so disappointed you didn't have my back. Like, you were competitive with me, like we were playing on a team, competing. And I think that what happens is when you get to our age in our 50s, you feel like all men are this way. And I'm going to tell you, it is trash. There are some men out there that I'm like, dude, you are 70. Like,
Right.
you're dating 20-year-olds, and when you have stroke symptoms, she is not going to know what to do.
She gonna
She's going to be like, oh, we're dancing? Like,
should
what are
I
we
call
doing?
an Uber?
Yeah.
Hey, what just happened?
But you will attract what you are.
Mm.
And so that's why it's really important that you heal, that you fall in love with you, that you get out there and start working out. You know, if you want a handyman, hang out at Lowe's,
Right.
Home Depot.
Right.
You want a fit man, go to that gym. Be open. Don't
Yeah.
be so, I don't need no man, because you ain't going to have one.
Yeah.
You got to literally say, God, renew my mind. I lay hands on myself all the time. God, don't let me do a do-over.
Don't let me do a do-over.
And we were slow. I mean, me and him were slow. Like, we really got to know each other.
So you guys were friends first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the night at St. Regent's, the first night, we didn't get each other's phone number. And I thought I'd never see him again. And then 3 months later, I'm back there with my brother and sister-in-law on a Sunday night, sitting out by the fire. And this man says, can we come share the fire with y'all? And I turn around, I was like, what?
Listen,
I remember you.
They going right now, Sunday night, Kim.
You got to get out of your house.
They coming to
He's not
Limitless.
going to break in to get
Yeah.
you. He's
He
not.
is not.
I mean, y'all, you can meet them at the grocery store. You can meet them at the light. It's at Starbucks. Like, I literally told this man, I said, put my name in your phone because we're going to be best friends. I'm not dating. You're not dating. We're going to go to concerts together. We're going to go to movies together.
This is what you told him when you met him.
Girl, I dropped the whole hanky. I was like, what do I got to lose?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was kind of like to himself. Like, he's kind of shy a little bit.
Yeah, he's not a man of many words. No.
He's not a man of many
Yeah.
words. Like, he's funny as all get out, but he's got to know you. But I said, put my phone number. So, ladies, listen to me. You better drop that hanky.
Yeah.
You better be looking fly when you walk into Publix or Starbucks. When you see a man look at you, do this. Look back at him and go, hi.
Simple. So simple.
Yes.
So simple.
Oh, I can't do that. He's got to do it to me first. No, you better, because men are scared too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then don't waste so much time on the wrong people. Like, if y'all don't mesh, don't try to make it.
Right.
But also don't think that, I think women with a lot of money too, we start thinking he's got to have as much money as I got to have.
Okay, talk about this.
Well,
because I think that is a
how much money do we need?
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is we're going to have millions and millions and millions of dollars, but we're never going to see each other.
Right.
Like, we're going to have to choose here. Are you gonna drop one of yours and I'm gonna drop one of mine so that we can go on the road together and we can travel? Because it's very important that you're with me and I'm with you everywhere we go.
Yeah.
We don't want that kind of relationship. We want to literally be climbing on each other every place we go. We want to be spending time together.
Is that what you discussed with Angelo?
Yes.
Before you all?
Yes. Like, we talked about everything, girl. Like, we discussed, he wanted to know. He said, I never want to be in the public eye and somebody asked you a question. I'm like, what? He said, I want to know everything. And I was scared because I was like, this is such a great man. And he hasn't been around the block. He's like really a classy guy. And when I tell him I've been married this many times, he's going to be like, girl, you are a bat case. You're a baddie case. And I look like I was, but I'm not her anymore. You got to trust that. And so we talked about it. And it was, the way we came with it was he got rid of his home. Of course, because I lived on the 15th floor with the floor to ceiling windows.
And that was a thing. You really needed that, yeah.
I mean, we got to live in where there's a concierge, of course, because you and I need to do that. There's crazy people out here. And he was like, yeah, but he was so easy. You know, I'll never forget looking at the table and he was checking his credit score. And that was important to me. And I looked over and I was like, yes! He got a good credit score. I just was in my chair doing this. Like, he's like, this is a good man. Like,
y'all was at dinner and the man was
checking his credit
score.
This man reads all of his emails. This man is like thorough. I'm fly by the seat of my pants. Like, it's been a good
I can tell it's a great balance because you are very much fire.
Yeah.
He gives me very grounded, very earthy, you know.
And he'll be like, you come down now. Like, come on down. Like, he just,
yeah.
He gives me peace. But we talked about it. And so he moved into my place. He sells, builds cars and looks for luxury vehicles and exotics, and he's a broker, and so he can do all that on the road with me. So it's almost like it just started working. The pieces just fell into place. And he's got his things and I got mine and we got ours.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how is it like in this season of your life, we're trying to have a very personal life and privacy, but also pastoring
Yeah.
and being very public?
Yeah. You know, for me, I'm the type that will go to, I would go to like a place with music and, you know, I've been a little hideaways. Jesus. Like, I just like to people watch.
Yeah.
And ever since I've been with Angelo, he's like, no, we can't do that. Now we're noticeable. Like now we're tall. We walk into this place. You can't be seen in these places. So I think because we have this beautiful place we live with gorgeous back porch, beautiful sky. We got the best view in Atlanta. Who needs to go out when you love each other and love each other's company?
Yeah.
And we're kind of addicted to each other.
I can tell.
And so we sit out on our back porch and vibe together. And I come home from church and we cook supper together and hang out. We've got a great life. And every single person watching this, if you will put yourself out there and let go of the wrong, stop hating the ex so God can bring you the next.
Quit hating the ex so God can bring you the next.
Yeah, God's going to blow your mind.
What is next for you? Would you go back to reality television? Do you want to go back on TV?
For me, we had Lifetime reach out to me and Angelo about doing a show. I'm just so in love with my life. I just don't want, I don't want anything to hurt what we have. For people applause, to be seen by people that don't even know my middle name. I just don't want the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So I'm just very cautious. Baby, when I tell you I'm living.
Yeah.
I am living. I am a coach. I mastermind. I've got a bunch of people in my masterminds, which is my one-on-one coaching. I started a year and a half ago, building bosses. I do lots of teaching on master classes and the inner circle. And I'm really, really busy. I don't even travel like I used to. Like I'm very picky about where I go. I'm just not wearing myself out in this season. I'm not gonna miss out on this season. I feel like I missed out on a lot in ministry.
Wow, like what?
I just feel like I lost out on my kids being raised. I feel like I lost out on caring so much what people thought of me. People will love you one minute and hate you the next.
Absolutely.
They will say, I'm riding with you. I'm riding, as long as I'm in my limo, you are. But the minute the gas runs out, where you at? Yeah. So I just think I want to love this. Our church, we're building a church, building another sanctuary in Fayetteville. Just loving life, writing more books probably, because they seem to do really well. Yeah. Very committed to prayer calls at 8 a.m. every morning.
You're consistent with it.
Yeah.
Every day I see you pop up on live something.
Yeah. I know what it's like, Brandi, when I was walking through my divorce and I was laying in my bed one night and I lost everything, I'd lost my marriage, lost my home, my cars, my credit score, like stuff that mattered. And my dad raised me that credit score mattered. That's why I keep bringing it up. And I'm laying in my bed one night and I'm like, God, take this pain away from me. Because I was like, fix this, Lord. He's like, I'm not fixing it. Like, you never one time asked me if this was your husband. Ooh. How can I fix what I didn't put you in? Ooh. But in church, you do. You just do it. Like, you can't even get married again if you get divorced. Per people, And I told God, I remember that night, I said, okay, God. He said, I can't take the pain away. You got to get up and walk away from it. And I was laying there and I just started crying like a baby, like, crap. Wow. I got to fix me. And I started getting up and I said, God, I want to feel every single thing that I have to walk through, all the healing process. I want to see the wings are ready. I just got to get into position. And I remember thinking, when I get up out of this, I remember the night it was. I was like, when I get up out of this, I'm going to pull out every single person I can from the place I was. Wow. I'm going to let them know that you are not too far gone, that God loves to use people with the worst past to create the best futures. That I don't care how public that embarrassment was. I don't care how shameful. I don't care if you're the woman at the well. Or like Jonah, you were told to go one direction and you went the wrong direction. God will send a whale to get you back to where you need to go if that's hell. And I remember thinking I'm going to be there for every single person that feels hopeless because of church, because of parents, because you weren't the golden child or you weren't the good one. You tried things. And I'm going to be there for them. And I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to be a road dog.
Wow.
Savage for Jesus. Righteous and ratchet.
Righteous and ratchet.
Hood and
savage.
holy.
Savage for Jesus. Let me say this. Kim, you are just such a gem. I think that you just live from your heart.
Yeah.
You know, and it shows up with how you are with people. As we begin to close out this interview, one word you are committed to in this season of your life.
Dreaming.
Dream.
Dream.
That was a part of the conference.
Yeah, I do every dream.
Yeah. Wow.
I got so many words though.
I know you do, Kim. I can gather that.
And it's all, let's go. Let's go. Get your big stick thigh. Pull it. Let's go.
Yeah. Why dreaming?
I think that I lived for so many people for so long that I lost me. And I'm just coming back for everything the devil stole. And I want restitution. I want 7 times greater.
Ooh.
Every mistake I made, I want it to be such a message.
Yeah.
Every scar is turning into 1,000,000 stars. And I want to bring everybody with me. I want to take a whole bunch of black sheeps and let God turn us into the goats. Where the very people that didn't believe in us are working for us.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to give them what they never get, you know.
Yeah. Kim, I love this. Thank you so much for joining me. Vault Empowers Talks, another good one. You better send this to somebody who needs to dream bigger in this season of their life. Y'all, this was another good one. Until next time, I'm your girl, Brandi Harvey. Eat well. Give a damn. Move your body every single day. Peace.